Greetings, Venturoos!
Hi!
Welcome back to episode 23 of A Very Venture Vodcast. Today we're going to be talking about season 5, episode 4, Spanikopita! Which is named after the Greek spinach and feta pie, which are delicious.
I know, I wish we had some right now.
This episode was written by Jackson Publick.
Yeah, because someone has to use the X1, and it sure isn't Doc Hammer. So, quick spoiler alert, I guess. If you haven't seen this episode, probably shouldn't be watching this, but we like your enthusiasm, so come back after you see it, and or all of the Venture Brothers, hopefully.
Again, Jackson takes us to a fictitious island. Seems to be a theme. This time he writes off Dean and Hank.
I know, both of them. Just
get out of here, Venture Brothers. You think this show is about you or something? Please.
So it's another episode that is highly influenced by Greek mythology.
Yeah, a lot of that.
We were just mentioning that last week. And I think the episode we're thinking of is Every Which Way But Zeus.
Right. So Rusty wants to drag Billy and White out to Spanikos. For a 3-day festival that he hasn't missed in 20 years. And it's called, well, you know.
Yeah, we've all heard it enough.
Spanikopita! Sorry.
So he said that, Rusty said that he had his first solo adventure in Spanikos, which turns out not to be a euphemism.
No.
And really it's just like this, marker in Rusty's history.
His actual first solo adventure.
And Hank can't go because he, teasingly has a concert that he's, performing at.
For Shallow Gravy. Yeah.
Right. And also he's too busy posing in his Countess Sphinx costume.
Yeah, he hasn't taken that off yet.
And just weirding us out.
It feels uncomfortable for me.
How comfortable he is.
His legs are crossed all the time. By the way.
Does the costume make him do that?
I don't know. So we're reminded of that because Shallow Gravy's record label is Conjectural Records.
Yeah.
Which is a subsidiary of Conjectural Technology. Completely
had forgotten that.
Owned by White and Billy. And White is the Gravy's producer. Or manager, depending on who you ask. Although Hank seems to think that he's not.
Yeah.
He sasses him
he's pretty
hard
clear
about
that
it.
he's not. I just like that White has this, continuing theme of being involved in music since he, was the DJ for the White Room,
know. In college.
So, something near and dear to my heart. He gets all annoyed when people keep trying to get him to have fun in the sun and, sparkling seas. And I was like, yes, finally, someone understands. This is not meant for fun in the sun. And why are you looking at me like that?
I always forget that you get so riled up about this. The sun.
I don't like the beach.
How dare the sun be there?
Going to the beach is like someone saying, let's go to the desert for fun. What's the point?
I enjoy it. Okay, so Dean has plans. We're guessing it's going to be sulking.
Probably a lot of sulking.
Continual of the sulking he did last episode.
Yeah, that's what he's up to. He's figuring things out.
Yeah, he's having a moment.
So during the intro, Doc makes Doc Tales, which please let's make that a thing.
Yes.
From now on at DragonCon, let's do it. But I love that this joke keeps reappearing throughout the seasons, like that. It's like his one true calling. If your one true calling could be something you're horrible at,
right? Hot Mummy or Slim Jim Fizz? Which one would you try?
I think the Hot Mummy.
Yeah, only
mostly
because
I don't know what's in it, and it might be better than the Slim Jim.
Yeah, the idea that there's a Slim Jim in my drink is really just not doing it for me.
But in the background of that episode, Rusty's wrapping up this tiki cup.
In gauze to make it a mummy.
In the background.
Yeah. So through the window, they are being watched by Bubbo the Owl from the original 1981 version of Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, it's this owl. This was confusing to me, but Athena apparently was supposed to send her owl to help Perseus, in his quest, and she doesn't want to, so she sends a robotic replica of her owl.
They had robots then. Don't think about it.
I really need to see this movie.
It's good.
Bum, 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 bum.
The owls are not what they seem.
No, they're not. But the gang arrives in Spanikos. So Hatred goes with Doc, which is a reminder that the Venture bodyguard is really just there to guard Dr. Venture.
Dr. Venture, yeah.
And it's kind of like a precedent set by the OSI and like team or Operation Rusty's Blanket. And they kind of just leave the Venture kids. I mean, it's like they save them when it's possible, but between the two,
necessary,
they pick Dr. Venture. And even Hatred has done this before when Rusty was like unconscious. So
yeah, absolutely. So White is wearing very special beach attire. Nothing's weird about what he's wearing.
Nothing is weird about it. Skin cancer people. Skin cancer, people.
People of the skin cancer? Oh, okay. So we see that the X2 is already there. And Dr. Venture is afraid that it's Jonas Jr., a.k.a. kind of a jerk. Yeah,
we're kind of worried it's him, too, because
he's kind of a jerk.
He's kind of fun as, like, a joke in the show, but I don't really want to spend that much more time with him. We realize it's actually St. Cloud, who's, like, the antique roadshow of evil.
Our favorite villain so far. Well, our new favorite villain. So he says that it's the original Team Venture's X2 boat. Really, it's a rebuilt version of it since the original was destroyed in 1968.
Which they're very clear to mention.
Right.
So, which we'll get to later, but it really syncs up with everything that's happening in the story and, like, the actual real events.
Right. So that was the year of the wedding and Rusty when he got kidnapped. And then we see Elrond detonate it later.
Yeah. Because we see, you know, that exchange between St. Cloud and Billy. They actually mentioned this isn't the original X2 because it exploded. And, you know, that kind of, the first time I watched it, it didn't register. But the second time, it's like, oh, that's what happened to it. It actually explains in this episode. It ties it up.
So St. Cloud is there to destroy Billy's vacation, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it really is villainy light. Well, I guess his level of villainy is well matched to Billy's level of super anything.
So we meet your ghost, or Georgios, depending on who's speaking.
Depending on how Greek you are.
Right. And there's another eye patch wearing member of the Venturoos. There's two in one room when him and Billy are together.
There's so many eye patches. Things get really suspicious, starting with the welcoming committee. They tie Rusty to a chair, and he's actually, like, his mouth is covered, too.
Immediately every person watching is like, what?
Yeah,
what's happening?
What? This seems like a not real thing. Yeah. And throughout the episode, we learn this really sad story of Rusty and the one-man-inspired festival of Spanikopita.
Or sweet, depending on how you're interpreting it.
Yeah, it is kind of sweet, the way that they've just kept it going throughout the years just for him.
So back in 1968, a bunch of, like, highfalutin muckety-mucks all get together in the Greece area. Yachting together in celebration of Jackie O's second wedding to Aristotle Onassis. Right. So that makes sense because we've actually seen pictures of in Now Museum, Now You Don't, Jonas
and
JFK. So that makes sense. Like, it's just a continuity.
Yeah, they're basically saying he was friends with all the big shots.
Continuity.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're basically, they portray him as friends with all of the big shots in that era. Yeah. So even with the government, stuff like that, we know that he was working with them a lot. So it totally makes sense that he knew the president and his wife and was good friends with them.
Yeah.
Lots of schmoozing. So actually, Aristotle owned Scorpios, which is where the intimate ceremony took place.
Yeah, IRL. Which doesn't sound IRL, though.
No, like, his name's Aristotle. It's Scorpios. Right.
Jonas said that he brought Rusty to Greece so that he could learn the classics, okay? But Rusty is continuously playing games that are, like, built on the classics, like with the Minotaur
the Trojan
and the Trojan horse. And it's like, is his dad so oblivious to him? Yes, the answer is yes.
Well, he's playing with Helper the whole time.
I know, but he just doesn't even notice that his son actually is, like, apparently paying attention because he's acting them out in play.
Yeah.
It just shows it's, like, another level of, like, how neglectful his father is.
What a great father he has. Secondly, how is he supposed to learn the classics when he's trapped on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean all alone?
Why would he come to Greece for that? Like,
yeah,
he's by himself, so how is he learning these things? He's just reading, which you could do at home.
Right. But Jonas just wanted an excuse to go to a party.
and just bring his kid along
and
leave him on the boat.
Right. Don't wait up for us.
Also, it makes, like, Rusty so much more super heartless for selling Helper to St. Cloud.
He was, like, his only friend as a kid.
His only childhood friend.
Yeah. Although, Rusty does make this really cute pumice stone statue of him and Helper in the Spanikopita games. That's just, like, this little moment where they're holding hands.
Yeah.
And it's so adorable.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which makes it even more heartless that he sold him.
So, as many astute Venturoos noticed, it does look like on the party boat to Scorpios that Mrs. and possibly Mr. Monarch are on the boat that Jonas jumps onto.
Yep.
The lady certainly looked like the same lady. The guy was, like, harder to identify, but it's like another tease, you know.
That's probably all we'll get.
Until probably the finale or something.
Yeah. So, also, I'm not sure I noticed this before, but Rusty's kind of a cute kid.
He's such a cute kid! So, things get, like, dicey enough that Hatred ends up calling Brock to see, like, what's up with the whole island situation.
And Brock's eating lunch with Shore Leave and 2 other OSI people that we don't know.
Strangers.
So they might have introduced new characters.
Strangers.
That I'm sure they'll be back in some episode
Probably.
in another season or something. The guy with the mining helmet looking thing and the girl with the super long blonde hair. It's like Kill Bill style.
Yeah.
Her yellow suit that she's wearing.
She's like OSI Barbie.
Yeah. And Brock's eating lunch with Shore Leave and 2 other OSI people that we don't know.
Strangers.
So they might have introduced new characters.
Strangers.
That I'm sure they'll be back in some episode in another season or something. The guy with the mining helmet looking thing and the girl with the super long blonde hair. It's like Kill Bill style.
Yeah.
Her yellow suit that she's wearing.
She's like OSI Barbie.
Yeah. She was really cute. And Brock tells him to let it go.
Just let it go. Leave him. Let him have this. It's like the high point of his whole year.
He asks him, like, is he happy? And Hadrian was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, when do you see him happy?
And I'm sure at that point, we felt the same way, that it was like, okay, if Brock's cool with it, whatever's happening is fine.
He's already sussed it out. It's safe.
Yeah.
Safe seas. So while they're talking, we find out that Brock has 2 illegitimate Greek children, and they both have blonde mullets, which is awesome.
And one is kind of cute and looks just like Brock.
Yeah, the older one.
But, like, Greek. In the face region.
And one's a little younger, so he has time to grow into a Brock himself.
But that kid, who, the older one, ends up carving, in the pumice contest, he ends up carving Brock's head.
Anyway, Rusty spends the rest of the episode being strangely happy.
I know.
It's weird to see him so, like, not upset about life.
I feel like he's been kind of jazzed the whole season so far.
Yeah, and I think it's, like, the Islanders give him a lot of attention that his father never gave him.
Never.
So this is, like, a really dear memory for him, which is why he goes back every year.
He gets to be the center of attention the entire time, and it's, like, all about him, or he thinks it is, you know?
Yeah, he actually gets really mad when they say that they love St. Cloud.
Yeah.
He's like, they love me!
They love me! Even when he eventually, like, loses to Billy, like, he's pretty much, like, okay with it. Which is strange, you know?
Yeah. He's like, but I had so much fun.
He should go to Spanikopita more often.
Yeah, he should just, like, live there.
So St. Cloud kind of crashes their dinner, wearing a truly hideous yellow bathing suit that Auric Goldfinger in the James Bond movie Goldfinger wore. And Goldfinger comes up because Jill Masterson, one of the characters in Goldfinger, suffocated to death because she was painted gold.
Yeah. So, and then White is talking about how you have to leave a bare patch when you cover yourself in zinc.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to suffocate. And basically, zinc oxide is that really thick, opaque sunscreen that you can use, like Bullfrog that you used to put under your eyes when you were little.
Oh.
My parents had, like, a stick of it.
But apparently they myth-busted that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you can't die from it?
Or suffocate or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it turns out, like, St. Cloud is really a lot like Goldfinger.
Yeah, he is.
He's a show-off. He's really petty. It's all about money. Like, he's desperately seeking respect. We can conclude.
Yeah, definitely.
it was apt.